If you're about to embark upon your pupillage applications, you are not alone. Thousands of other candidates are also vying for the extremely limited number of places. Competition is fierce, but what if I told you that there were tools and strategies that can significantly increase your likelihood of being successful and make the process that much easier? My name is Mukosha Park. I'm a qualified and practicing barrister and founder of Blessing at the Bar. Keep watching this video for my best actionable tips to make the pupillage application process that much easier, and my recommendations for tools and resources that will help you in your pupillage application journey. So a quick introduction. As I mentioned, my name is Blessing and I'm a practicing barrister. I founded Blessing at the Bar in 2017 to provide content, education and resources for other people who are aspiring to the bar. Over the past 7 years, I've developed not only a YouTube channel, a blog, and a social media following, but I've also designed and developed digital products, workshops, webinars, and coaching packages, all to help you with your bar journey, ultimately to make the process of pursuing a career at the bar less lonely, more informed, and easier to deal with. Because let's not joke, it's very tough. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about crafting successful applications, acing your interviews, and utilizing the best kind of resources to help you on your way. Stay to the end to hear about all of the resources that I have available, including my application and interview coaching package and my free 10-minute application checking sessions where you can get detailed feedback on your applications for absolutely free. So let's begin by really understanding what the pupillage process is and what it's all about. So pupillage is the mandatory year-long training that you have to complete in order to be qualified as a barrister in England and Wales. It's sort of similar to doing an apprenticeship, and that's because the bar is really a vocation. It's something that you have to learn on the job because there's so many different elements of it, and you need that mentorship and support in order to really get your head around what being a barrister is all about. The training is split into 2 6-month periods. The first one, which is called First Six, is where you'll be shadowing your supervisor and you will be going to court with them and seeing what they do. You won't be having your own clients in your own right because you're not able to, but during this period, it's all about learning, following the leader, and understanding what's going on. The second period, the second 6 months, is your second six, and this is where you go on your feet. And that term is used to describe that 6-month period where you are going to court all on your own, you have your own clients, your own pieces of work, and you are essentially acting in the same way as you would be when you're a fully qualified barrister. The point of pupillage is that you get the mentorship, support and training, but then you also get appraised by your chambers. And the chambers where you do your pupillage is going to be assessing you and deciding whether they want you to join as a member of their chambers based upon your performance, feedback from your supervisors and clients, and anyone else that's had interactions with you. Generally, you'll have around 4 supervisors, and that will be split into the 4 different periods. So 2 supervisors in your first 6 and 2 supervisors in your second 6. Though different chambers do it differently, some of them have 1 supervisor for first and 1 supervisor for second 6. Now let's talk about why pupillage is so competitive. The number one reason why pupillage is so competitive to get is because only barristers' chambers and other authorized education and training providers are able to qualify you to become a barrister. So only they are able to offer you a pupillage that will make you eligible for qualification. There are a finite number of barristers' chambers and authorized education and training providers in England and Wales. And all in all, there are thousands upon thousands of people applying for a very small number of places. That means places for pupillage are heavily oversubscribed, the competition is fierce, and each year that you apply, you're applying against other prospective pupillage candidates who have been applying, some of them, for several years. So, to get your spot, you have to be the best of the best, and chambers really do have their pick of who to select for pupillage. It's cutthroat, but if you keep yourself organized and you look at this strategically, you can get through it. The first resource I want to introduce you to is the Pupillage Application and Research Spreadsheet. What this is a spreadsheet to help you keep track of all of your research into different chambers, the progress of all of your different draft applications, and the outcomes of all of your submitted applications. It allows you to see at a glance what you're doing. And I've found in my experience from 3 years of applying that it gets really overwhelming when you're just sending off applications, getting emails, and you can't keep head or tail over what is going on. But with this spreadsheet, you are able to keep yourself in check and are able to see where you're at all times. And trust me, when things start getting very hectic and you've got applications, interviews, jobs, studying, and life, you're really going to appreciate having something that gives you an at-the-glance view of everything on your plate. So how do you apply for pupillage in the first place? Well, there is something called the Pupillage Gateway, which is run by the Bar Council, and the Bar Council represents barristers in England and Wales. The Bar Council's Pupillage Gateway is a centralized application system, kind of similar to UCAS, where you apply for university in the UK. And you are able to see vacancies from different chambers and send your applications into them. They will advertise their vacancies for pupillage and have a description of what pupillage is like in their chambers. And you will then be able to upload your applications onto the portal, and you'll be informed on the Pupillage Gateway portal throughout the process if you're offered an interview or if you're made an offer of pupillage. After you submit your applications, and that's generally in the first week of February, you will then have to wait to see if you're offered and invited to interview. Generally, there are 2 rounds of interviews in the pupillage process. The first one is what people call the paper sift. So that's when they sift through the applications and pick out who they think might be their top candidates. That might be 20 or 30 or so people. Those people will then be interviewed, and the best of that selection will then be selected for a second round final interview. This is generally more practical, and the first interview is more CV based. So in the second round interview, this is where they really want to understand you, your skill set, and what you're going to be bringing into chambers. After that, offers are made, and they're generally made in the first week of May. And that's when you find out if you were offered a place for pupillage, or in some rare cases, you're offered a reserve place, which is you will have pupillage, but only if the person ahead of you doesn't accept. Just to point out, not every chambers is on the Pupillage Gateway, and some chambers advertise their vacancies off Gateway, and you have to apply directly to the chambers. One thing about the Pupillage Application Research Spreadsheet is that it does divide your applications so you can track your Gateway applications and your non-gateway applications, and that can help you keep track of everything that you've got ahead of you. Next, let's talk about how you actually craft a winning application that secures you a pupillage. Before we get into that topic, I do want to point out something, which is that brilliant candidates get rejected for pupillage every year. You can have absolutely perfect application content and still miss out, and that goes down to the competitiveness that I mentioned before. So please don't get disheartened if you feel like your applications are really strong but you're not seeing the results that you want in terms of offers. Let's talk about number 1 mistakes to avoid. Generic answers. Please do not send the same responses to every single chambers, even if they're all asking the same question. For example, almost every application is going to ask you why this chambers. They want to know, of all of the chambers in England and Wales, why have you applied to us? Do not just copy and paste the same response to every chambers. What is going to work is tailoring your responses, and that means finessing your answer to that specific chambers. To give you an example, let's say a chambers has a very successful junior mentoring program, and their mentoring program for juniors gives juniors the opportunity to work with the most senior members of chambers and to go on secondment with some of chambers' most popular clients. Knowing about that and having a compelling reason why that program would benefit you would make that a tailored application to that chambers. And your next response for why this chambers for another set will of course be different. So here are some actionable tips for you when you're crafting your application responses. Start your answers with a strong point that is backed by specific examples. For example, why do you think you'll make a good barrister? I will make a good barrister because I have strong oral advocacy skills, as evidenced by my recent win in the City Law University GDL mooting competition. That's just an example, but that shows straight off the bat this person is answering this question with a strong example. Avoid the cliches, things like, I was impressed by your website, or I'm very passionate about a career in law. These are generic, woolly responses that don't say anything about you as a person, your skills, or what you're going to add to that chambers environment and culture. Another tip is to link your skills and interests to chambers and their areas of work. For example, if you've developed really strong skills working as a caseworker, you can tie that into chambers' areas of practice. For example, you can say, my experience doing pro bono volunteering as a caseworker in the employment tribunal has allowed me to develop an intimate knowledge of employment law and practice, something that I believe will benefit me as a member of Chambers, given that this is one of Chambers' main practice areas. That's just a very general example, but you can see how you are pointing specifically to your skills and interests in the areas of work that Chambers does. Now, whilst I'm here, let me mention that I have plenty of resources for helping you with drafting and crafting your pupillage applications. All of those are available on the Blessing at the Bar website, and I've linked them down below. And I also have available on-demand workshops for pupillage applications and interviews, which are helping you with tackling some of the more challenging elements like selling yourself and using data to drive your pupillage applications. If you want one-on-one coaching and support with your pupillage applications, then do check out the Blessing at the Bar pupillage application and interview coaching sessions and package, which allow you to get one-to-one feedback and support from a mentor on your application drafts. Now let's talk about acing your pupillage interviews. You've sent off your applications, you've been invited to interview, now what next? The one word I want you to remember is preparation. Preparation, preparation, preparation. As my mum says, failure to prepare is preparing to fail. You cannot walk into a pupillage interview and wing it. Trust me, they will know and it will not work out for you. Research your chambers thoroughly. You should have already done this during your research stage and filled out your application research spreadsheet with all of the information that you have garnered about that set. Once you've done that, you practice answering interview questions about your CV, your skill set, your background experiences, and your future career aspirations. A top tip is to actually record yourself answering these questions so that you can give yourself critical feedback. For example, you might see that you fidget a lot, or you stroke your hair, or you say, All of these things are small elements that can be distracting, But if you don't practice, you won't have that opportunity. Another reason why you really need to practice mock interview questions is because you need to get into the rhythm of talking about yourself. It can feel very strange to talk about yourself. Writing your applications, yes, that can be nice and easy, but actually vocalizing why you're a strong candidate can be really nerve-wracking. So I do recommend that you practice mock interview questions, and I should point out again that the application and interview coaching package also includes a mock pupillage interview, which is simulated to be as close to the real thing as possible so that you know just what to expect when you walk into that room. I've also got a resource bank of mock interview question prompts so that you can practice on your own or with someone else ahead of your interview. So throughout this video, I've mentioned my different resources. So just to summarize what is available for you on Blessing at the Bar if you're tackling pupillage applications and interviews. First of all, we have the application and interview coaching package. This provides 4 sessions, 2 for applications and 2 for interviews. You also get a weekly phone call with your mentor throughout the application and interview process, and free resources tailored to your pupillage application and interviews. The pupillage application research spreadsheet is also available to help you organize all of your applications and everything that you've got ahead of you, gateway and non-gateway. And keeping track of all of those can be a nightmare without a spreadsheet. The benefit of that resource, of course, is that it keeps you organized and makes sure that nothing slips through the cracks whilst you're under pressure during this season. So to summarize, the pupillage application and interview process is an annual application season that runs from January to May and sees thousands of candidates whittled down to only a few hundred pupils that start in chambers every year. You can strengthen your applications by having quality responses that incorporate detailed research into the chambers, knowledge and understanding of the practice areas that you're pursuing, and ultimately knowledge and understanding of yourself and your own skill set that you can sell in the best way possible. I encourage you to check out all of the resources that I've mentioned in this video, and make sure that whilst you pursue your pupillage, you take care of yourself. The application and interview season can be ridiculously tough, draining, and really take the toll on you mentally. Remember who you are. Remember to treat yourself with kindness. Remember to talk to and reach out to your friends. And ultimately, remember that even though pupillage is the goal, the number one goal in your life is being happy with who you are, confident in who you are, and able to sell your skills in any context and in any environment. And that can be you if you maintain your perspective and maintain your kindness and self-confidence. Good luck with your applications. I wish you the very, very best, whether it's your first time applying or not. It took me 3 years to get my pupillage, and every good barrister started where you are. Keep going, keep your head up, and hopefully Blessing at the Bar has something to help you during your pupillage application journey. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure that you like, leave a comment, and subscribe for more content to assist you in your legal journey and career. Bye, guys.